Good morning, Alex Giles here on WBTV News Now with Chief Meteorologist Conklin.
Hello and good morning. Cold start out there this morning, huh?
Really cold start to the day. Sub-zero or sub-freezing temperatures, I should say, for people across the Carolinas this morning.
And in fact, as you mentioned, though, you just said sub-zero in the mountains.
Right.
It's unbelievable cold up there. But this cold weather, we've got a few problems out there, Alex. First alert this morning for those cold temperatures. And I think we're seeing some issues with water main breaks this morning.
Yeah, this is breaking news right now. I wanted to pull this up for folks here. We got a water main break. Our Nia Hardin in First Alert Traffic is monitoring this right now. But this is at Eastway Drive and Central Avenue. All lanes currently closed on Eastway because of this. They said there's some ice on the roadway above where the break happened, which of course makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
Charlotte Water said repairs could take 6 to 8 hours. They're saying drivers can use Kilbourne Drive to bypass the closed portion of Eastway Drive. But again, all lanes currently closed on Eastway because of this water main break. And Al, you hate to hear about something like that when the weather is so cold.
Yeah, we had some power outages earlier this morning up in the mountains. I think that's partially because of the wind and the ice and the snow up there on those power lines. But when we get these cold temperatures and you start to freeze the ground a little bit and these pipes shift a little bit with that, it's not uncommon. So with this outbreak, which will take us right through the upcoming weekend, I think we're going to see more of this. I think you're going to see more of these kind of issues pop up with pipes and water mains.
This is a time where people really need to be cognizant and checking stuff around the house and watching out for the pets too. Right?
You got that right. Pets, pipes, all of that will come into play. And the other thing I would say is I would just, all of us together need to kind of monitor our energy use because, we've seen this before. Remember Christmas 2022
yes.
when it was so cold? We had these rolling blackouts and brownouts. We saw, in the worst case scenario in Texas a couple of years ago where people were without power for days and days and days. I don't see that. We don't have any major storms coming our way. We have one little wrinkle that we're going to talk about on Friday morning, but you could envision a time where there's such a demand on the power grid that Duke and others could start to sort of cut back a little bit on this. So again, conservation and, as you say, precaution. Make sure you're taking care of your pets. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly. If they're by themselves. And of course, if we continue to get this cold weather like I think we will, you want to make sure that your spigots, the outside spigot of your home, especially if it's in the shady part of your house, which is not uncommon this time of the year, the sun angle is so low, make sure that thing is wrapped up, disconnect those hoses.
And take those messages seriously. If you do get one from one of the co-ops or power company, if you have Duke Energy and they say like, hey, monitor your energy usage, listen to that.
Yeah, this is why, because we're all in it together here. Now let's take a look at it. Now again, you said, well, wait a minute, man, we got a lot of sunshine. Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah, pretty start today.
It's a beautiful start, but is it June or January? Well, it's January, and it is cold. So it looks great, but that temperature in Concord this morning was 17 degrees. Very, very cold. Even worse up in the mountains, and because of the wind. You saw the flag there. That's Memorial Park, downtown Blowing Rock.
Yeah, June or January on this one.
Yeah, you got that right. You see the power lines, they're blowing there. It looks like some sort of an emergency vehicle coming through here.
I got the blinkers on.
Yeah, I got the blinkers on. The roads are really iced over up there, so we know most of the schools are either closed or operating remotely. Nobody should be waiting out of the bus stop. They were down into the single digits, even places in outlying areas that were below zero this morning, and the wind chill factors are well below zero. In the high country, we'll still continue to have blowing snow today. It won't snow, though. You're going to have sunshine, but there will be blowing snow, and you may get back to about 25. So you don't even get above freezing around Boone, Blowing Rock, West Jefferson today. Foothills, you don't get out of the 30s this afternoon. Charlotte may get to 40 for a little while this afternoon, but that tells you most of the afternoon is going to be spent in the 30s. So then we turn our attention. I think, Alex, as soon as the sun goes down tonight, we will be below freezing. So 7, 8 o'clock, we're already going to be below freezing here in Charlotte, and the lows tomorrow morning will be back down into the teens to low 20s. It may not be quite as cold as it was this morning, but we're talking about a degree or two here, right? So this is our second night now of very, very cold temperatures. Then we turn our attention to our next weather maker. So high pressure, sunshine today, mostly sunny tomorrow, but you see those two areas of low pressure back to the west on Thursday morning, tomorrow morning at this time. Now by Friday morning, they're kind of just to the north and east of us. There's a big stripe of snow through the mid-Atlantic region. And then as this pulls away, the coldest part of this outbreak is actually going to come this weekend. Starting Friday night and through Saturday and Sunday will bring the coldest weather. Now I want to go back to this. This is I'm zooming in there a little bit. We have a first alert in play here for our Friday.
Okay.
And the reason is just this. It's really early Friday morning. As that little front comes through, the temperatures may be marginally cold enough that we could get a little bit of a wintry mix. Snow and sleet in the mountains, and perhaps sleet and perhaps even a little bit of freezing rain or plain old rain in the Charlotte area. I'm not 100% sure yet. And so I don't think it's going to mount to very much, but what if we get just, 1/100th or 2/100ths of an inch of freezing rain overnight, early Friday morning, then you wake up 7, 8 o'clock, and you're like, okay, let's go to work, let's go to school. Whoa, wait a minute, what's out here?
Yeah.
Right, and you see the snow that continues Friday in the mountains. So I'm a little concerned about that. So we're going to keep an eye on that. It's a first alert for now, just to let you know. But there's your weekend. You want to get outdoors, fine, plenty of sunshine. You'll need the sunglasses, but you're going to need the heavy coat, the gloves, the scarf.
Right.
18 Saturday morning, 15 Sunday morning. Really cold stuff. That's the coldest of this whole outbreak.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Make sure you heat the coffee up, stay inside,
Yeah,
start that weekend morning.
yeah.
You've got to let the dog out, be like, hey, get out there quick, Fido.
So that one morning that's not going to be down into the teens will be Friday morning. And the reason for that is because of the clouds associated with that little system that'll be coming through. That helps to keep our temperatures up a little bit. We'll have some wind.
Interesting.
So that's yeah. I was telling my wife that last night. She said, "Wait a minute, how the clouds they act as a blanket. They insulate us. So when we don't have the clouds, we have the coldest weather, like we do this morning, like we will tomorrow morning. The one morning that's not super cold is going to be Friday morning because of that little. I mean, it might even rain. How can it rain? Wait a minute, it's so cold. Right? So we'll see. Again, there may be a little bit of a wintry mix. That's why that first alert is in play for Friday morning. I'm going to be monitoring that along with the WBTV weather team.
Got it.
Now, this is something, Alex, I know you're loving.
Yes, bring the heat back.
Yeah. The last week of January, there's going to be a major temperature turnaround here. I'm not lying. I believe, I shouldn't say that. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I'm totally honest with you here. I really think we're going to be pushing 70 by the end of next week.
Really? You're
Yeah.
willing to say that?
Yeah, I really do think so. All the signs are there, and I'll show you on the 7-day forecast. But again, we've got above normal temperatures for the entire country.
Yeah.
So when this is not that uncommon. You can be super cold on the front side of these systems, and you can be just as dynamically warm on the back side.
Interesting.
So we're 48 on Monday, 55 on Tuesday. That's above
That's a
normal.
big jump, yeah.
Right. And by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm sure we're going to be in the 60s here, and we could be pushing 70 by next Friday. So 40 for today, sunshine, 20 tonight, 48 Thursday. That first alert you see blinking for Friday is just for that 30% chance of a little snizzle, drizzle. We'll see what happens Friday morning. Whatever it is will be gone Friday afternoon. We're back into the upper 40s. Then that secondary cold front comes through. We're 18 Saturday morning, 15 Sunday morning, 22 Monday morning. Then we start to go up, both with the lows and the highs. And that's why I say I really think we're headed up. So if this is not your kind of weather, it's to be expected. Even you as a lover of warm weather, this is to be expected in January.
Right.
But there is a backside of this, and there is definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. I think we're going to be looking at a much different pattern for next week.
That is so interesting. And that's the Carolinas, right?
It is. You don't lock in for anything. This isn't, Buffalo. This isn't places where it locks in.
Right.
You're originally from Philadelphia.
Yep.
I'm from outside New York. We could go 3 weeks in a row where the temperature wouldn't really get much above freezing.
Just cold.
Just cold. Cold. It's locked in. It doesn't work that way here.
That's so interesting.
We're also not Florida where, we don't stay warm. We have these fluctuations. Honestly, it's why a lot of people love it here, because you do get 4 seasons, right?
Right.
Our winters are generally temperate. We do get some ice and snow, and if you really want that, you can go to the mountains. You'll have all the winter weather you want.
Right.
But we don't see us lock in normally, either with the heat or with the cold. Now, we're going to get a stretch of weather, in June, July, and August, where it's going to be 90, 92 for, 10, 12, 15 days in a row. That's to be expected, just like we're in this cold pattern now. It's going to be about 10 days of really cold weather, and, and then we'll start to rebound again.
Last question I've got for you.
Yeah.
In those days where we're stretching up to potentially hitting 70 come next week, do you think the lows will still be pretty low? Or?
I think they'll be cool. I don't think they'll be cold. I don't think we're going to be talking about teens in single digits. I think you'll already start to see them come up. The average high now is 52. The average low is 32. I think you'll see us mostly close to average early next week, and then above average, both at night and by day middle to late next week.
It's going to be exciting for the kids who hate wearing those jackets outside at the bus stop.
Yeah,
Even
right.
when it's chilly outside,
Yeah,
they're gonna be like, yeah, we're good again.
I know there's some kids probably out there at the bus stop this morning, in T-shirts and shorts. They
Don't
always
do
do,
that.
right?
Don't
Don't
do
do that, right?
It is like they're immune to the cold weather, though. It's unbelievable.
Right. It's like when you're watching the football game in Kansas City and you see some guys out there with no shirt on, right? You go,
Right.
are you kidding me? But all kidding aside, that's why the schools are, either working remotely or
Right.
canceled outright in the mountains because we're down near zero this morning and the wind chill factor is well below zero. Not quite as bad in Charlotte. Our low was 18. We're headed for about 40 this afternoon.
We appreciate it as always.
All right, my friend. Good to see you. Stay warm.